Okay, hey everybody, this is Grace. In this video, I'm going to talk about deceptive practices in, well, let's say businesses, delivery services. Because I've had recently my own experience. I've mentioned before that I needed to have health insurance. I live in Texas. I'm a homemaker, and I don't work outside the home, but I had to start working outside the home to earn a certain amount per year in order to get affordable, that's an important word, affordable health care. Otherwise, it would be more than the minimum I have to make per year. Seriously, it's just strange. But the long run of it is I have to work a certain length of time with my health to get health care. And what I'm doing is delivery because I have to work where I can go home if I need to. I'm an independent contractor. If I can't work, I just don't work, and so on. Okay. So, and I'm finding already I had to take today off because my original problem seemed to be irritated by doing this job. So I'm going to try to continue, but I'm going to take off when I need to. And but anyway, the deceptive business practices. And that's a little bit of the background. I have other videos, yeah. But for years now, I don't know how far back, maybe 2018, I had been a customer of these delivery services, mainly groceries. In 2020 especially, groceries. 2020, 2021. And I saw so many problems as a customer, like orders only like 50% to 70% filled. And yes, some people say, well, that was the way it was. But just some of the practices. And then watching videos since probably, who knows, before then, maybe even before 2020, people who were doing delivery service, gig work, is what they call gig tubers. And what they would say was sounded like so entitled, like a high sense of entitlement. And then some of them would even say that the customer has a high sense of entitlement. Or just say the customer seems entitled. Well, the customer is entitled for the service they're paying for, period. And the customer is not responsible for giving you a tip. The customer is not responsible for what you earn. Seriously, the customer does not, I still say that. However, I'm willing to say that I have actually already said that there are, of course there's exceptions to every rule. There are when customers are trying to do something that's wrong, and there's so many different, there can be exceptions. We all know this. I don't know how anybody who didn't grow up with it, there's often exceptions to every rule. Seriously. There's one rule that I know, no exception, but we all dread that. Well, maybe we all don't. I gotta stop saying all. But anyway, doing these gig works, I knew I was going to be tested on what I was judgmental about. In fact, most often, anything I'm judgmental about, I get tested on it at some point in my life. Generally speaking, yes, quite often. So I knew this. I knew that one day maybe I might have to do this work. And it turns out I do. Not for the money, but to actually save money on health care. Okay? So, I mean, that's twisted. That part right there is so twisted. But anyway, as far as deceptive practices, I would watch these people and I would feel for, some of them. It depended on what the issue was. And I could say, yeah, I would see that as a deceptive practices. Boy, my goodness. That just seems so sketchy. These days, the term a lot of people use has a different meaning, but also slang is to say sketchy. And some of these are. The way that the AI, I guess it would be the AI, and I can also understand, I should say this up front, why some people develop conspiracy theories, what some would call conspiracy theories. My master's degree is in sociology, so I see those things a little bit differently. And sociologists, by the way, are ones who bring up conspiracy theories. Many do. Okay, we're trained on this. At least I was. I don't know anybody who wasn't, but to understand conspiracy theories, why some of them turn out to be true and some of them do. So we're the ones who teach that. Okay. So it just depends on where you live, of course. But where I was trained, that's what we do. Okay. Some of us, we each have our own little area or areas. I have areas, plural. And my degrees are also, I have degrees in both psychology and sociology. So, yeah, nouns with a twist. But anyway, take a breath here. But yeah, because some of these conspiracy theories, they're really not conspiracy theories. Some of it, it's so obvious that these are just deceptive practices. Okay, and the reason for them may be different than what the person thinks, but like some people say, I kind of like this term. This is for it. The spidey senses, that something is just not right. Yeah. But why it is not right could be different, like I said. But yeah, right there. Something is wrong with this picture. And so I'll give an example. Okay, if I am at home, I've tried this, but I haven't tried it enough, and it's not enough people, I'm just one. Might not be the same for anybody else. And I could be wrong, like I said. We could be wrong on reasons. But if I'm at home, I tested this out. And to see what kind, when I first got it, I just now started doing this. And to see what would pop up, what kind of orders, how does it work. I wanted to, there's no training, very little. One of the training I actually read, I've applied for more than one, and I've looked at more than one, was basically to paraphrase. I'm not going to say which one. I'm not that type of person. I'm not going to say which one, but they paraphrases basically say, get your shoes on and get on out of there. That's your training on the job. Nobody helping you. Nobody supervising you. And it didn't say this, but I will say this. And I've heard other people say something similar, that the people who are supposed to help you if you have a major question, chances are they won't. Chances are, like yesterday, in my experience, my personal experiences, the ones I've called, the ones I've tried to reach, my experience, especially yesterday, when I was being transferred from one to another for 43 minutes and 6 seconds by the time, and then I finally hung up. My blood pressure was so high. Oh my goodness. And I kept saying, when are you going to connect me to this right person? And each one connected me to it. They transferred me over to the wrong person repeatedly. I started asking, I said, I want the actual corporate office number. They would just immediately transfer me to somebody else. This kind of, it was so unbelievable. Called back later on, spoke to somebody else, and I'm kind of, so the sketchy part of this is what is supposed to be support, help, and support. It's not. It is not. My experience, my personal experience, it's not helpful. It actually just seems to be very frustrating, because each time that I've actually, noted how much time it would take just to get them on the same page as what I'm trying to tell them is at least 17 minutes. That's 17 minutes of my time being wasted by people not understanding what I'm saying. Okay, if your job is to understand and to help, you need to be able to understand and help. Now, I am not one of those, I am not at all one of those who say just because it's people from there or from there or from there that they, no. If they're trained correctly for that job and they're hired for that job, they should be able to understand what the worker, I guess you'd say, is calling for. What kind of help? They need to be able to understand that. Otherwise, what is going on? That they spend 17 minutes, waste at least 17 minutes of your time. Seriously, wasting our time just to get on the same page. I'm calling because Like, for instance, here's another one. It turned out to be a package from somebody's house to be delivered. And then there was one that was added right after that. Two packages to be delivered to another human. Another person's personal, not a job, neither one of these were a business. Okay. And what it turned out to be, it was very freaky too, to the way it said turn, all of a sudden. And there was nowhere to turn. Well, past a bunch of woods, there was a place to turn. And then it suddenly said it said turn left, and suddenly it said turn right. What? I didn't even turn left, okay? Because it was a compound, allegedly. That's what it seemed to me, and I'm not new to this world at all. And it had the 2 posts with the chains across it and the really scary sign that dared anybody to step foot past that part. And there was a lot of houses, and it wasn't a road, but was it? I mean, I don't think you can block off a road like that. And like I said, it was possibly a compound. What kind, I don't know. But it was very threatening. You know, it let you know you were not to go in there. And of course, I did not go in there. But it took 17 minutes just to get I left from there, went to a church, okay? Went to a church down that road in their parking and area, and called support. Suppose I'm doing air quotes here. Support. 17 minutes or so. Got the woman on the same page, allegedly, supposedly. As it turns out, and let her know. I had said, no, what I am saying is unsafe. This is unsafe. Oh my goodness, it was unbelievable. Oh, unsafe. Well, go ahead and cancel it. I said, I don't know how to cancel. And I didn't know how to cancel. This was my first day. I don't know how to cancel. And she couldn't help me because it was too much. So she canceled it herself. They charged me. They not charge me. They give you a penalty. I don't know what all these different places. I'm calling them all one. I'm not going to call all these different names at these. But that's what they did. They put it on my cancellation rate or something that I canceled. None of them have been canceled by me. And it said, and so I called, and that's the one that went on for 43 minutes and 6 seconds. I had it on my phone with nobody helping me. And then I called again. And then I called again for a different reason. And the woman kept saying, she was really sweet. Very, very sweet. And as it turned out, she didn't know her job either. Because I was telling her, I said, not all of my deliveries are showing up. And they show how many miles you did, how much you made, how much tip and all that. And she was saying other people have that problem too. And very nice, she said, you're getting very big tips. I'm like, really? And I looked at what she's seeing and what I'm seeing, saying, yeah, it looks like that, but I figured it out. It's that they mix 2 trips together. They don't have the total details on one of them each time. It is very deceptive. It's like, she should have known her job in order to tell me that, what they did was they put these 2 together and these 2 together, and it doesn't show, how much tip was from this other one, how much, was the tip, was the base pay, I guess I'm going to use one set, so I'm going to use base pay, what you would get without a tip. And they don't have them separated out. But the tips were high, yeah, because they were mixed. And that's another part of this deception. Okay, deceptive practices and along that line, I should say. Yeah. Okay, this other part is, okay, let me do this here. Okay, and I know this is a lot because it is a lot. And I doubt I'll even be able to scratch the surface of it in one video, or I don't know how many. But Adam goes with me for safety reasons. He's older than I. And neither one of us are new to this world, okay? New to this planet. And I'm telling him things like, he's gone from, no, I don't want to do that, I don't want to help you because, no, he's an electrical engineer slash, I guess you could say, software developer or something. I don't know the terminology. There's a separate one, but anyway. And he's been going with me. He says he kind of likes it, kind of new to him, something different to do, and just to see how things work, that kind of thing. So I've been telling him, I've been having these thoughts too, to see how it works, because there's no training, no real training, okay? No real training. It's on-the-job training with you all by yourself trying to figure it out. So, yeah, you're going to try to figure it out. Maybe. Some people just going to do. Not try to figure anything out. Anyway, or some can't. But, and I told him, I said, it just seems like there's something about the way that they, the AI, I guess it would be the AI, gives the orders. It's not a human sitting there giving out orders. It's the AI, allegedly. All of this is just my view, and I could be wrong. All of it. Anything I say. I do not give any form of advice. If it sounds like it, do not take it as any form of advice. This is just, as people say, including me, for entertainment purposes only. So, anyway. But the way that these orders come up, is that they suggest you can take it or you can deny it. You can reject it or not. Or decline. Like I said, so many different words for doing the same action as usual in life. But, so say they pop up an order and I look at it and say, I'm not going to spend 20, 30 minutes and get paid $2. So that would be, that I've heard many people say, crap orders. Crap. That's being polite. That's BS. There's no way. With gas prices, especially going up and all that, that's just, you're losing money. I'm losing money. So no, of course I'm going to reject that. Anything like that. But of course, because I'm new to this, I'm having to figure out what works for me where I live. Because it's busy here. I live in a big city suburb of Dallas. And there are plenty of suburbs around me. And plenty of traffic. And part of it I've actually nicknamed, jokingly, Narcissismville. Everybody owns the road. Everybody has to be first. And everybody, not everybody. It is not everybody. One size does not fit all, and it's not everybody. But the people who do that, the people with that attitude, it had a reputation, by the way, before I even knew it existed. Okay, but that was one suburb. I see it in different places. It's fictional in my mind, but the way I see different places, different pockets. Like if you go in this little, you're going to see it a little thicker than you're going to see it over there. They're more down to earth over there. They're more caring over there. But over there, generally speaking now, but you can have people mixed going back and forth, okay? So going from there to there. Anyway, like I said, it's the way I see it. It doesn't really exist. It's a joke. But, anyway, am I ever going to get to this part? Like I said, there is just so much to this. But, okay, so I want to take an order. And I want to get busy starting. Adam says, why don't you try it from home? I said, I know some of them that do videos say they do it started from home. I don't think that's a good idea because I don't know this for certain. There's no training. Very little. If anything, what I've seen as far as training is pretty much a joke. But in my view. But, okay, you're taking somebody's order. They can actually see where you're driving on their end. Are they going to see you leave from your own home? Seriously. Really? Will they? So, I've only, had, I think, 2 orders ever, and that was very early in the morning, pop up. But the rest of that whole day, none from home. None. So my thought is, maybe in a day, Your first one, maybe, or maybe not, first one that you actually will accept will start at your home, but the rest of the day, no. I don't know. This is what's weird. Let me go ahead and finish some of this. What's weird about it? Okay, there's a lot weird about it. Okay, so I say, well, nothing is showing up. I want to go down the road. This happened to us more than once. I mean, after the first time, I had a kind of a thought, a working. But anyway, we go out. I said, let's go to that park and sit there. Nothing happens at the park. I said, my goodness, we're going to have to move. So we moved. And as soon as we moved, started moving. That's important. Started moving and getting out of this neighborhood. It gave me an offer, an order offer. And I'm like, that's interesting. Okay, is that how it's always going to work, or that just was by chance? After quite a bit, I would say, yeah, I have to be moving. I mean, literally, my SUV needs to be going down the road before there's an order come up. Now, that's not safe. Like in one of these little classes they give, if you could call it that, say, don't try to take your eyes off the road, don't be texting. Well, what do you think this is? It's just a kind of a form of texting. You're reading. You're having to take your eyes off the road to see what the order says. That's not very safe at all for yourself or anybody else. But it's not going to offer if you're sitting still, or is it? Allegedly, maybe. So of course the thing about it is, if I'm going down the road and I see an offer, all I'm going to see in really big, is the amount that they're going to pay, the dollars that they will pay me. Okay, I can't read that little fine line down at the bottom to see that it's 2 orders, and that's what I have seen consistently now. It winds up being 2 orders. And the one that I see big, I can see the mileage just glancing over, and see the mileage of how long, how many miles, or the time right next to it, how long is it going to take me. Well, that's just that one order. It's not talking about that other one, which is, so far as I've seen, exactly a lot more miles, less, and that dollar amount, goes for both. it's so deceptive. It really is. Because the total mileage then winds up being much, much more. Now, I need to test this out more to see that for certain. I'm driving as it's happening. Adam's reading it to me, so he's not going to be even to read the whole thing, okay, to me. So, but in the end of it, at the end, whenever it's all said and done, that's how it is. And the mileage, it's been crazy. Like I said, I live in a big city suburb of Dallas, and South Fork Ranch is just like not very far, okay? And that's where I want to do, is around there. There's a store, and all the right underneath it is, right to the south of it is a whole long street. It's farm to market, and of just all kinds of stores, all kinds of shops, all kinds of restaurants. It's a long strip from Murphy. I think it actually starts in Plano, goes to Murphy, goes to Wiley, and I think maybe Parker isn't actually on the map so far. I haven't seen. I don't know if it's not incorporated or whatever it's called. And then I think out there is also Lavon. Well, it's just this long road, farm to market. And the old-fashioned name for it, but still used. So that would be great. That'd be perfect. And all the houses off of there. I really don't want to do apartments because of my bum knee. I don't want to get to where I have to walk 2 or 3 flights of stairs, which would not happen, period. I would cancel. I don't care about that rate. But the thing about it is, what it's doing, this deceptive thing, of like, it's practically like it's hiding, or that very fine line, like you'd see when you read something, all the warnings are really fine line. You can't really, unless sometimes you have to get a little, some readers or something. I'm nearsighted, so I can see it without my glasses, but, very fine line. And says all this stuff. But there it is. So it's more mileage. And I have wound up in 8, I've counted 8, if not more, suburbs. By that. Seriously. Because some of it's just actually deliver in 8. So I don't know how many I've actually driven through, these suburbs. And some of the roads, Adam and I were like, we see things as adventures. We used to go on road trips when we were younger, like 20 years or so. We did a lot of road trips. We moved to a lot of different states and everything, all over the place, from like California to Florida and back and forth and all this kind of stuff. Road tripping. And it's kind of a fun way to put it, but yeah. And so we kind of liked seeing something new. It was like when we were young. We liked seeing some of these places were creepy. Like we remember one of them, it was in Florida in the Panhandle. And we went to just try to find something, to get us a soda or something. And it took us on this road. And it was like in one of those really scary movies where somebody, because it was dark even, like you would worry that this town is crazy people. Because everything there, people, we actually thought it was so weird. We just got the heck out of Dodge. And we had several stories. Overall, it was just good. We traveled, no big thing. But anyway, this was what it was like yesterday. We went through, I don't know how many places, and Adam would say, "There's no way we're here in this suburb. How in the world? They don't even connect." It was like, and yeah, we are. That's the name of that street. That's where it's only in that suburb. But just traveling, and some of the roads are so scary. They have big drop-offs with no shoulder, no medium. And here you have all these big diesels coming at you, and that so reminds me of when I'd go to my hometown where I grew up. On one of the ways, it was 110 miles of that, and eventually it went to 75 miles per hour. You're having diesels coming toward you in their lane, but come on, no shoulder, no medium, no, really for miles, many miles, no cut, no way to get off the road. Scary. And I've been through those when it was raining and when the roads had ice on them. Seriously, that all of a sudden there was ice. This kind of thing. Yeah, it can be quite scary. So that's what we were winding up seeing yesterday. Not knowing, because we accepted an order like, one of them was $12 and something. And the mileage was something like under a mile. But then it turned out, because that really fine line was another order, and that took us all over the place. It's like, but we're learning, so we were saying, that's what we kept saying, we're learning, but I think I need to get myself or him, some readers or something, so he can really sit there and see that little bitty fine line down there. And then some of them, it was like, what? We're just now getting this order, and it says it needs to be done and expected in 2 minutes. And we're in that road with all the traffic on it. This is bumper to bumper. And yesterday was Friday, but it's bumper to bumper every day, all day long. It's all the stores are. Okay? I don't think they're taking that into consideration. But this is where a lot of people go shop, and not just those two suburbs. Like the main ones are Murphy and Wiley. Okay, that people come from all around, and like I'm seeing, people are ordering from all around. That's not good either. But they have some of them so far. One of them one time was 10 miles. And that's not what we were seeing. And that also was not really what we were driving, because it was from it was going to be from the store to their house. from what we can see. But we weren't at the store when that happened. So we had to do that time, and then for us to get back out of there is time too, in miles. Yeah, one order can take an hour, but it's not going to say that it's going to take an hour. It's like 20 minutes, but it winds up being an hour. I really got to... I told him he needs to be the one driving, but he doesn't seem to want to. And I kind of think, maybe not. Maybe not. So we got to get better at this. Yeah. But yeah, that would be considered blaming the victims, us. But these are deceptive practices, in my view, and his too, and maybe other people. But this is how they work it. And what I'm saying us to get better at is to note how it works, so we don't get these, I don't think you can totally avoid them, because there's just so many of these. Like I said, I doubt I'm going to get through, even scratch the surface in just one video. But I think I'm going to do more, and I think I'm going to add a couple of clips from places we were yesterday. But I am not going to be one of those that shows my face, that shows everywhere I go, that's going to, take screenshots at everything. I've taken screenshots, and it just doesn't do right to me. On my cell phone, I can click on the screenshot, and it actually does something. So, that's just not how it's supposed to work, in my view. So, plus I'm using the same cell phone to take the orders and to, would be to video. Same phone. And Adam has his own phone, but I don't use his. I doubt, I wouldn't even ask him. So, no. But there's that could lead me to more, but I think I've gotten quite a bit for this. So I'll put, I think, 2 clips I had that I'm just sitting outside talking about, and Adam's taking a smoke break. So, a cigarette smoke break. So, yeah. That's enough for this one. I'll talk to y'all in another video. Bye. Okay, hey everybody, this is Grace. So, Adam and I are at a Walmart neighborhood market. I'm thinking at the moment, I gotta find a place to light, to do these, deliveries. Yeah. And so I'm gonna try to make it here. It's got everything we need. There's the grocery store, restroom, gas pumps right over there. Gas is going up like crazy, man. It's ridiculous. It's going up, let's see. This is $3.42 over there, and it's about 2 or 3 weeks ago I was bragging that it was $2.98. Wow, it's gone down. But anyway, I went in there. He was wanting to get a cigarette, so I went in there to go to the restroom. I was thinking, oh no, he got the key. He's going to lock us out of the car, out of my SUV, because I had told him, don't ever leave my keys inside when you're outside. I got here just in time to say, don't shut that door. And he was about to do it anyway. I said, wait, don't, because it will lock you out. Seriously. And where were the keys? He put them inside. I said, what is it with you? I had told him that like 2 or 3 days ago, that this is my fear, is that we're going to get somewhere. He's going to step out with the keys. I'm going to go into it and come back out, and we're locked out. I'm telling you, seriously. The way that man's brain works. Oh my goodness. But anyway, so I'm a little bit out of breath, because I basically walk ran to get out here. Yeah, to make sure he doesn't lock us out. So, oh boy. But anyway, I'm going to make this place, because I woke up this morning and my waking up brain here said focus on one place, forget all the other ones, focus, because this is a big area, and I wanted to originally learn about too Wiley Murphy Parker, and that's right where we are. We're right on the other side of it, of one side of it, that whole area, and this is where I go grocery shopping quite often anyway. And I want to learn more of this area. This seems like more like my kind of area to focus on, really, to be around. Just more of my style and all. Plus, it's got one long strip of, one that goes from Murphy. I don't know if it starts in Plano, then goes to Murphy, then goes to Wiley. And I'm not sure if it touches Parker or it's just under it. But straight, it's all stores. Stores and all the rest of the kind of stuff. So it's just like it's perfect. But watch me do all that and it turns out horrible. No, it's not going to happen. Don't put that out in the world. What I did, I don't believe in that. But hey, what I did last time was say we're going to see the good, the bad, the ugly. And we did exactly that. So, okay, it's much later. There's a little thing I want to find one. So you can put in there. If I can put it on my phone and put in there, put much later. I don't know how much money we've made. We're just learning. But it seems to like me to go pick up people's coffee and those things. And I don't drink that stuff. And in fact, I go into some of these coffee houses or whatever, and I'll start coughing. Yeah. The smell of coffee brewing causes me to cough, as if I'm allergic just to the smell of it. But I also like Dunkin' Donuts and what is the name of it? See, I don't drink it. What is it called? Starbucks, right? I really don't drink it. Seriously, none of that kind of stuff. We know I don't need caffeine. Oh my. And it makes my heart beat too fast. Caffeine, so I don't drink coffee, tea. And I had to give up soda with it because it make my heart beat fast. Just a little bit. My hands smell like I've been picking up stuff. What was that? Stuff I do use to wash. The soap, in other words. But anyway, so I've been getting out and delivering. We've seen some beautiful. Adam's with me for safety, and I think he just likes to go. But we've been way out. Some of these things take us way out in the country, and it's funny because it's not but a few miles, like 2 or 3 miles, 4 miles from where we are. And it's like, wow, you go from here to there. But Ninja Nation, I wonder what that is really. I saw an ad for it today. But anyway, it's been pretty much fun. I kind of like it because, my master's degree is in sociology, and this is like qualitative research to me. Really, field research. Here comes Adam, so we're going to hit the road again.